It's getting close to the NFL draft, so let's talk running backs for the 2022 class. I'm going to give you my top 4, okay? And the reason I'm giving you top 4 instead of 5 is because, look, there could be a running back that comes out of this class and surprises us all, but I really only think that there's 4 that you really, really need to worry about from a dynasty perspective. So this list could change. It's my 1.0. This list could change as we see the combine, as more information comes to the surface. But as of right now, this is my top 4. And I think a lot of you might be upset with number 4, which is okay. I'm upsetting some people in this draft process. But number 4 for me is Isaiah Spiller out of Texas A&M. 6'1", 215, put up great numbers in 2020 and then again in 2021. Over 1,000 rushing yards at 5.5 yards per carry, 6 touchdowns. Did some decent work through the air, 25 receptions, 189 yards, and another touchdown. Look, I can just imagine people commenting on this video and telling me that they hate me because I don't have him as a running back 1. A lot of people do have him as a running back 1. He's got good footwork. I'll give you that. Special ability to make defenders miss. That's probably his best attribute in the open field. He almost always makes that first defender miss. And another strength, he's a consistent pass catcher. I can definitely recognize that. However, I do think there are some glaring weaknesses. Could be wrong. Happy to be wrong. But to me, the overall speed, I'm worried about how his speed is going to translate to the NFL type speed, because to me, it didn't look like someone who could be a dominant running back, that type of speed. Lacks burst, in my opinion, lacks strength. I mean, for how big he is, I expected to see more of those put the team on your back type plays in his college tape. And I just didn't see that. And it takes him a long time to get to his top end speed. Ideally, you want a running back who has quick burst, who can kind of get to whatever top end speed they have quicker. And probably the other thing I noticed a lot about him is his vision. I do think he needs to work on his vision. At times, I think he's not seeing the best available route, the best available hole to run through. I'm trying to find a really good pro comp for him at the moment. I see him as like a much slower Arian Foster. I'm probably hounding the speed too much. I just don't think the speed is impressive. He can succeed in the NFL, but I don't see him being a dominant running back. Just my opinion. Teams that I could see him fit really, really well on. I think about the Titans as like a third down running back. I think he could really, really fit that role well. Some of you are probably upset because I'm even calling him a third down running back. Texans and Bears are other teams that I could see him do really, really well on. At number 3, I have Kyren Williams out of Notre Dame. He's 5'9", just under 200 pounds. He's a junior. You guys are thinking, you really have this guy over Isaiah Spiller? Yes. In 2020, he put up 1,000 rushing yards, caught 35 balls. In 2021, over 1,000 rushing yards, and caught 42 balls. I mean, this guy can do it on the ground and in the air. This is the kind of running back that I want on my team in the NFL. Someone who is versatile like this. Elite game-changing speed. He's a pass-catching back, creates mismatches for any defense to try and match up with him. Caught 77 balls in 2 years. Caught 77 balls in college in 2 years. And by the way, on his rushing attempts, he averaged 8.9 yards per carry in 2022 or 2020, excuse me. And in 2021, he averaged 8.5 yards per carry. Quick feet, very shifty player, versatile option. I mean, you can line him up in the slot or in the backfield. Despite his frame, I expected to see a lot of injury issues, but I didn't find that, which is something that a lot of people would have been concerned about because of his frame. Does need to improve on his ball security. He had 8 fumbles in the last 2 years. And if he's going to succeed in the NFL, he needs to do all the little things right. He definitely needs to improve on that. Not very strong, but he does have that bulldog mentality, if you will. And he does need to improve on his vision and patience. There's sometimes he gets lost behind the line. He's not very tall. My pro comp for him is Austin Eckler. This is what I'm saying. This is the type of running back that I want on my team. Austin Eckler is definitely a stronger back, but you can see some of the similarities in their game when you watch Kyren's film. Teams I think he'd fit really well on: Chiefs. He'd be really great on the Chiefs. Can you imagine that? Dolphins and Titans. Kyren is probably going to get drafted later than the rest of the guys on this list, but I really, really hope that he gets a chance to prove himself. At number 2, I have Kenneth Walker III out of Michigan State. He's 5'10", 210 pounds, coming out as a junior. In 2021, my guy went crazy. Over 1,600 rushing yards at 6.2 yards per carry, 18 touchdowns on the ground. one more through the air. He was at Wake Forest for his first 2 years of college, and then he transferred to Michigan State. Safe to say that was the absolute right option for him. And the biggest thing that stands out to me when I looked at his tape is his change of direction and his vision. He can quickly change and pivot, and he always finds the right hole, especially the patience behind the offensive line. Something that Kyron doesn't really, and these other guys I've talked about don't really have. Kenneth's got really, really good vision, and he's able to patiently wait for the right hole to burst through. He doesn't waste any time as well when he finds a hole. He's got quick burst in that short area. Ball security, he's very good at securing the ball. Only 2 fumbles in 3 years. And he's a durable running back. He's never missed a game in his career thus far. Doesn't have home run speed, right? He doesn't have the Chris Johnson speed by any means. It's a little bit below average, I would say, but still competent enough. And he's not really used as a pass catcher. We didn't see that in college. So I'm hoping that's something that he can improve on in the NFL. I have one player that I kept thinking of when I was watching his tape, and that was Nick Chubb. He's not as fast as Chubb, but when you think about pure runners, right, you think of Nick Chubb. That's what I thought of when I was watching his film. And I think he would fit really well with the Cardinals. Maybe they don't need to re-sign any of those guys in James Conner. They can get Kenneth Walker in the draft. How about the Dolphins, Seahawks? Those are some teams I think could fit him really, really well. And my number one running back at the moment, I don't think it's going to change, to be honest. I'm pretty set on Breece Hall being my number one running back in this class out of Iowa State. 6'1", 220 pounds, 1,472 rush yards, 5.9 yards per carry, 20 touchdowns on the ground, and then 3 touchdowns through the air. Over 50 receptions in the last 2 years, 36 this year. That is something that you want to see. You want to see a do-it-all running back when we're talking about fantasy football, dynasty football. All Breece does is score tutties. That's all he does. My guy's always in the end zone. 21 touchdowns on the ground in 2020, 20 in 2021, 5 more receiving touchdowns in between there. He broke an FBS record for consecutive games with a touchdown. All my guy does is score, and I think that's going to impress a lot of GMs. He has very, very good vision, guys. That is the one thing that I was the most impressed at when looking at Breece Hall's tape. His vision is incredible. He's very decisive, or he's patient, depending on what he needs to be. If he sees the hole, decisive, burst straight through it. But if nothing's there, he's patient enough to wait for his offensive line to create something for him. Consistently makes the first defender miss. Good hands. He can serve as a 3-down back in the NFL. That's what we really, really want in the NFL. We didn't really see that out of Kenneth Walker, unfortunately. I'm not saying that he can't do that. He's got good ball security, hasn't missed a game in the last 2 years. And on the goal line, my guy is always getting in the end zone. Very good goal line running back. He does lack the elite speed. There's, outside of Kyron Williams, there's not really someone that you should think of as elite speed in this class. I do think his burst and explosiveness could be better as well, but the other parts of his game are so good that I think he's going to have enough to really succeed in the NFL. There's 2 players that came to mind when I was comping him. Number 1, David Montgomery. And number 2 is Kansas City Chiefs Kareem Hunt, okay? Not the Browns, but think about Kareem Hunt as a rookie, because that's what I kind of saw on tape when watching him. Teams I think he could fit really well. A lot of these teams just need running backs. Cardinals, Dolphins, Falcons. I think he could succeed on all those teams. Let me know. Do you like this list? Do you hate it? It's okay if you disagree. Just let me know in the comments. Yo, what's good? Thanks for watching. We got a lot more videos.
A lot more.
If you want more videos.
Watch it.
You can also subscribe.
Right now.
If you want to.
You need to.
And lastly, don't forget that you can sign up to support the show and get exclusive content by going to patreon.com/fantasylandfam.